Was Conga by Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine from the soundtrack to Ride Along 2. Oh boy, let's just do it.
Yeah, just get over it. So, Ride Along 2 was directed by Tim Story. He did the first one as well. He also did the two Fantastic Four films back in 2005 and 2007.
Whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
What can classify as direction. Yes.
I didn't know that. That makes a lot more sense.
What can be classified as direction. So we'll pick the story back up in Atlanta where James is doing a drug bust with his, played by Ice Cube, is doing a drug bust with his partner Mayfield, played by Tyrese Gibson, Fast and Furious fame. It all goes wrong, and Ben, played by Kevin Hart, messes up and he gets reprimanded by James. James gets sent to Miami. Ben is desperate to go there and prove himself so he can finally become a detective because he's fresh out of police academy, a much better film, and he's eventually convinced to go by Ben's wife, and they must get there, do the drug bust, and get back so Ben can get married. It's exactly what you're going to expect, and
fortunately we don't have a clip to play.
We don't have a clip.
I wouldn't submit anybody to the power of Ride Along 2.
No, I mean even 10 seconds of a clip would be too much. I mean,
Kevin Hart doing it.
Comedy sequels in general are usually ranging from average to absolutely shocking. I mean, we've got Zoolander 2 coming up in a few weeks. Fingers crossed for that. I mean, it's been a while, but I've got a lot more hope for that. I mean, Ride Along 2 obviously comes back on the back of the massive financial success of the first one, despite the highly negative reviews. So it was bangable.
Yeah.
There was always going to be a sequel for that, and there'll probably be a third one
as well. I think the worst example of that for me is Horrible Bosses 2. I thought Horrible Bosses 1 was.
I thought it was really good.
A sort of really good black comedy. And it was really good, but then even Jason Bateman admitted he only did it for the money, and it was awful.
But for me, I mean, Ice Cube and Kevin Hart just have no chemistry. For me, it just comes off as forced and really awkward.
Yeah, and even in the sort of press stuff they've been doing, have you noticed a sort of a really big viral campaign?
They're on quite a lot of stuff, aren't they?
There's certainly a lot of YouTube
well.
stuff. They've been going around the sort of YouTube community and doing a lot of junket things, like sort of, look at us, we're cool, we hang out with young people, and it still comes comes across as very
but I mean, Kevin Hart's just playing Kevin Hart, and Ice Cube, as you said when we were off air, just that he's playing the cop from 21 Jump Street, playing Ice Cube. So it's nothing new here, and just Kevin Hart.
There was a credit for based on characters by Greg Coolidge. Those characters mustn't have taken very long to come up with. Just new name, new occupation, and bam, we're sorted.
Yeah,
IMDb credit sorted.
Whoever wrote the screenplay for that.
Can I make a film like Ice Cube and Kevin Hart work in a supermarket? Characters, bosh. IMDb, sweet. I get it where I can now.
And you get a screenwriting credit.
Yeah,
so there you go. That's a career in one. Yeah, but I mean, Kevin Hart in general is just not my cup of tea at all.
No.
I mean, it's over exaggerated, sort of excitable style. This doesn't make me laugh at all. I feel like he's a bargain bin Chris Rock in a lot of things he does. He just doesn't get me at all, and it's turned up to 11 here because every time he's on screen he's either shouting or screaming or dancing or falling over or jumping over things. It's just, it doesn't think at all. I mean, the film is consistent in absolutely nothing except of the lack of actual jokes. I mean, it's where the biggest attempts at laughs are coming from car foot chases and physical comedy set pieces, and there's no attempts at actual jokes.
It's one of those films that substitutes action for comedy. It does the whole the punch as a punchline. When they're sort of out. Their laugh line is just a car crash.
I nearly smiled twice with Ken Jeong's character AJ, who's a hacker on the run.
And that's because he's brilliant in Community.
But in reality, he's been constantly pigeonholed into the same roles with people like Alison Brie, who are in comedies that they are above. They are better than this. They deserve better roles than this. But still, not real laughs, just smirks, and that's it. And
I didn't smirk.
No. Yeah, but then ultimately, there's nothing outright awful or offensively bad here. It's just
we've seen worse.
You've seen worse, and there's nothing outright good either. So you'll be thankful for seeing the story wrap itself up quite quickly, so you can get out quite quickly.
Very quickly
indeed.
As if it never even happened.
Yeah. So it's not atrocious. It's just when a comedy doesn't make you laugh, it's failed completely.
It's just don't bother.
Don't bother. Don't waste your time.
Scott, this is the first film we saw on Friday. We're gonna go in order today. We'll go from the very beginning of the story right along to we had to wait for a bus for a very long time. And then we kind of wish the bus never turned up.
I mean, I was thankful that it was late, heavily late. But yes, just how atrocious was this film? I mean, I've got two things to say on it, adding to everything that Ryan said, because he's completely correct on everything he says. I was offended by something. Olivia Munn's character, who, by the way, Olivia Munn absolutely fantastic in things like The Newsroom.
Yeah.
I was excited to see her on the big screen. And she's nothing but a love interest. She had no backstory, nothing at all. They could have taken a bit of interest with her sort of being the detective and chasing up the leads, but she got nothing at all.
She's quite a smart-nosed kind of, she's the straight character in all of this. She keeps it very grounded, and she's very determined, I guess
Determined,
is the word.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Very serious. I think she plays that really well. Like, it is a shame that she wasn't given more to do. I agree.
And you know, I definitely agree that the closest I came to laughing was Ken Jeong, just because he has a funny man to him.
He is
just a funny man.
I don't really see him as Chow anymore from The Hangover.
No.
You know, certainly
Yeah.
the same sort of, I'm not going to say it on the radio, but the sort of meme that goes around now of Ken Jeong in Community, which people kind of think is The Hangover. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I think he's a really funny character, and these kind of films, you see him. Yes, I saw him in the trailer and I thought, oh dear God.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what you say. TV characters just need to stop getting these sort of minor film roles.
I mean, there's clearly going to be a third ride along now because it knocked,
the money's there.
It was the film that knocked Star Wars off the box office in America, so it's. I mean, there are people who want to see it, and that's fair enough, you know. But I couldn't stand it. That's the thing.
The last thing I'll say about Ride Along is that there's something really wrong here because Ice Cube thinks this is funny. I know
he produced it.
I know you said that even he doesn't have chemistry with Kevin Hart, but throughout the film you kind of see Ice Cube kind of break, like he's finding this funny, and I bet you with all his money he's sitting thinking, right, this guy's funny, this story's funny, let's put it out. Well, you know what, Ice Cube, it's not funny.
Nope.
No one finds the stuff that you find funny.
Am I right in thinking there's going to be a third Friday film that he's wrote?
Oh dear.
I guess we're getting a nice little insight into what Ice Cube thinks is funny with these kind of projects that he attaches himself to.
It's a shame because he produced Straight Outta Compton this year, and that was, you know.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Even that maybe sort of affected the film in some ways. As we've said on the show before, his involvement might have sort of compromised some of the events that happened in the story.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
Ride Along 2 is not one to recommend.
Don't go see it.
Am I right?
Don't go see it.
Don't go see it. Basically, there's so much better out there. Will it be one of the two films that we still have to speak about?